Ushers, you guys do such a fantastic job leading the way for our guests so that there is a comfortable environment in the auditorium where they can hear the truth of God's word. I want to give some tips and tricks as we head into the Christmas season. Number one is right after huddle, as you enter the auditorium, come and sign up on the sign-in sheet right here is the back of the tech booth. Make sure you sign that the very first thing. Second is using the right tools. The first tool is that flashlight. This is a great way for our guests to know that we're there to help them because it can be loud, it can be dark or bright depending on the lights in the auditorium. So this lets them know that we're here for them. Other tools you're gonna need are at the back of the auditorium and the communion tables on either side of the tech booth. We've got clickers for when you do the count later on. We've got overflow packets for when we need to add folding chairs in next to the tech booth. We want to lay those down for our guests. We also have extra communion cups and paper towels for any spills that happen in the auditorium. Next is seating. At the beginning of the service, we want to be at those auditorium doors when they open, asking people to seat them, and then seating them in the middle three sections first and from front to back. We want to keep back seats open a little bit so that when people come in late, we can seat them there rather than in the front. And as we're seating people, we want to make sure that we take any stress off of our guests, and we want to ask, are these seats available? Or could you slide in and allow them to sit here? We never want to have a guest have to ask that question. The next is offering. When it comes to that time in the service, grab enough buckets in the back for your section, and we want to start on the left side. As we head down, we drop from the back to the front, walking around those front rows, and then we pick up front to back. And then we want to make sure we keep all the buckets together. Even if they're empty, we want to keep them all together. And then two of you will take all the buckets and head back to the count room with an officer. Next thing is, what do we do with the curtains? We're actually going to start with the curtains closed on our Thursday and both Saturday services. Now, the easiest way to know it's time to open those curtains halfway is when you can't seat a family of 4 comfortably in those middle 3 sections. But we always want to make sure that we wait to open those curtains if someone is speaking on stage. We want to pull those curtains back when they're finished, and it's okay to ask our guests to wait for just a moment while they finish. Now, what do we do if we have somebody who wants to sit on the side, but we haven't opened up the curtains yet? We want to make sure that they feel seen and heard, but we want to tell them, hey, we are excited for what God is doing in our church and how he's growing it, but we're not actually opening up the sides quite yet. Can I help you find a seat in the middle? Would that be okay? And if they say yes, great, help them find a seat. If they say no, say, I completely understand. We're just not opening the sides up quite yet. And that may mean they go back into the lobby for just a little bit until you open them up. But we want to make sure we keep those curtains closed. We don't want people walking behind them. Last tip is for lighting of the candles, something we've never done at our church before. As guests walk in, they're going to get a candle, and we're going to have extras at the back in case they didn't. We can get that to them. But when it comes to the end of the service, we're going to sing Silent Night together. And just before that, we're going to light candles. You start at the back just like you do for offering. You guys light the end person's candle, and they're gonna light the people next to them. You work from the back to the front, and either the staff is gonna light the front to the back, or we're gonna have an extra usher up front, and we're gonna work from the front and the back to the middle. That way we can light them as quickly as possible. And make sure you carry an extra lighter with you just in case one doesn't work, and you can find those at the communion tables at the back of the auditorium.